Good evening, everyone. I'll do Joe's first 2 seconds like he always does. We want to welcome all our folks on YouTube Live. Thank you for your patience. We're actually only a minute behind the typical projected start. Typically, we're not on until like 7:40, almost at 7:31. We say 7:30. It's probably as close to perfect as you're ever going to get. So thank you. The room is full. We have some special guests here. So we want to get into who they are and their presentations. But I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce the man to Joe Waddy's right, and you'll hear from him a little while later in the presentation. But seated to Joe's right is Brian Wynn, the National Director of Bargaining for the United Food and Commercial Workers Union International. This is Brian's first time in our House of Labor, and quite frankly, he's been in his job for a year and a half. We've had the luxury of working with Brian in numerous positions over the years, and I'm very proud that he's here with us tonight. He will address the body later. I just didn't want those on YouTube Live to be looking and be like, who the hell's the guy on the other side? They're used to these four. Having a fifth on the outside could cause the chat to blow up with questions. So I want to thank Brian for being here, and I want to try to jump to our first speaker. So earlier this evening, we had our December executive board meeting, our final executive board meeting of 2024, and the executive board approved the local union to engage a service that we're going to be providing to everyone, hopefully by February, as long as we can get everything worked out with the contract, Nick, obviously. But you're gonna meet Nick Williams from ID Resolution, and quite frankly, this is something that we're going to offer our members with 12 months of service or more, and all of our retirees, whether they're getting a prudential check or a direct payment check from UFCW Local 1500. It's a great new relationship that we're going to embark on. And it's one of those things, and I'm sure I'm taking one piece of Nick's statements, it's one of those things that's phenomenal to have, and we hope to God you never need it. That's all I'll say. So without further ado, Nick Williams.
Front and center, Nick.
Thanks,
Yeah, that's how
How are
I
you?
get a break. I put people like you.
Whoa, you look a little different down
Well,
last time we saw you.
I know, I look a little different. I'm sorry. I don't normally look like this. I wish I could get up here and say I was with Troop 76 in a campground. This grizzly bear came flying out of the woods. I protected them all. He took a swipe. I took the grizzly down. Unfortunately, an old man sitting too many hours in the sun and without sunscreen. So warning number one, wear sunscreen. And warning number two is that the biggest crime in the United States is identity theft. The OTC says it's not a case of if you're going to get hacked, it's a case of when you're going to get hacked. And if you aren't sure about that, if you an insurance company, it was Prudential, did a survey on the things that we worry about in everyday life. One was loss of our personal effects, our credit cards, our personal information, and two was identity theft, right? So this is something that you truly are all worrying about.
You can't see that one, look at that one.
Yeah, next slide would be, it happened to 15 million people in the United States. It cost $330 million this year. So it's a very profitable business. And why does it happen? Well, if you think about it, we share our information way too readily. We do it, and it gets stolen also. So when we go shopping, when we file our taxes, our information is absolutely everywhere. If you go on and try and buy a laptop, you're suddenly going to get ads being shot at you because of our geolocation. People are following you, and they're going to prey on you because we're being watched, and consequently, people will steal our information and do illegal things and create fraud. We share it with our doctor. We share it with the IRS. We share it with the government. We share it everywhere, right? Our social security number is still being asked by our doctors on a medical form, and we have no idea why, right? And when we got into business 14 years ago, we used to see organized crime going into doctors' offices to steal paper records because it has everything. It has address, name, social security number, mother's maiden name. It has absolutely everything. And then, of course, when HIPAA came about, we made it so much more efficient for identity thieves to go in. Instead of going into a doctor's office, they can hack into the system, and now they can steal tens of thousands of records at a time. So we're very exposed. A little bit more on healthcare records. People steal, common methods of identity theft. So keep yourself safe, right? So people will phish. They'll send you an email. They want you to click on that website. They want to click on that link. They're just trying to open you up for you to be exposed by them. Now we have smishing, right? Smishing is where you get a text message. You know, you didn't get your free Apple phone. You didn't get that $200 prize that was awarded to you. All they're trying to do is for you to hit on that link so that you are now letting them in to your cell phone, right? And there's a whole bunch of others. So I'm trying to keep this to 15 minutes. So, but obviously, if any questions, I can talk to you. We had 2 incidents recently. It was a union. The phone call was taken by the office manager, and they said, "Hi, this is Joe, president of the union." The phone ID was correct, so people can hack in and show any phone number now. So this was this guy's phone number being correctly shown, and then he said, "I want you to change my payroll information from this bank account to this bank account. This is the new routing. This is the new bank account information." Well, guess what, right? So a month later, he goes, "I'm not getting my paycheck." And they said, "Well, you know, Joe, you called us and you changed your routing information. You changed your bank account information." He said, "It wasn't me." He said, "I've worked for you for 25 years. So AI, another marvelous invention, apparently, it always brings a consequence, an unfortunate consequence. And the unfortunate consequence in this is that someone has reproduced his voice, called the union office, changed his banking information, and then suddenly that money is gone. It was a bigger case. It was an international case. It was a Google, it was a meeting worldwide, facial and voice, 6 people sitting in the meeting. They voted to move $250 million at that meeting. Only 1 person of the 6 people in the meeting was real, and the other 5 were totally AI generated. So we're going into a new generation, is what I'm saying to you, where you can't trust what you're hearing or what you're seeing, right? So be very, very careful. If the IRS calls you, the IRS isn't calling you. Try and call the IRS. It's going to take you an hour to get them. So they're not calling you. So if your bank calls you, if the IRS calls you, if anyone calls you saying, "You know what, we need you to pay this bill right now," don't do it. Hang the phone up, call them back. I'm telling you, 99% of the time, they're going to say, "No, we didn't call you." So you have to be super suspicious and super vigilant. Where are we? We did that one. So this service that's going to be offered to you by the union, it's for your whole household. So it's for you, it's for your spouse partner, it's for your children, it's for elderly parents that live in your house. And why is that all important? So kids that go to university, they share their identities. They go gaming. They are so so lax and so trusting, they think they're bulletproof. Well, guess what? They're not. Number one criteria is the elderly. And as Rob was saying, for the retirees, number one criteria of identity theft is the over 65. I'm an old fart myself, and I can say it. We're trusting. We do things. We're not as tech savvy, and we do things that are foolish, unfortunately. And we're also very proud, right? So we don't accept help that readily. Number two is the under 25. So if your children go away to college, they all have our service. If you have children under the age of 18, as a proactive service of what we offer, you should be calling us to put on a credit freeze on your child under the age of 18. Why? Because under the age of 18, those children of ours cannot borrow money. It's illegal. They can open up bank accounts, they can file taxes. They can't borrow money. They can't open up their own credit cards. But what happens, unfortunately, and we have, unfortunately, first-hand knowledge, we've had children that haven't even left the hospital that have had their socials hacked because it's lovely and clean, and people will steal that social, right, and then create fraudulent credit cards, credit, bank accounts, the whole kit and caboodle. We had a situation with a union recently. It was a Teamster union. Recently took our service, and they started nodding, and they said, my 18-year-old just started to apply for college. And he went for a student loan and got turned down. And he got turned down because there was 12 years of fraud going on with that social. This is real, right? So, safest way to keep yourself, or medical identity theft. Medical identity theft, people will steal our health insurance, right? And go and have a very expensive operation done. They don't have health insurance themselves, so they can hack into you and steal your insurance. They have babies delivered. They have a very expensive cancer operation because they don't have health insurance themselves. Again, very real. Now you have two things here. You have a fiscal problem, right? You're going to get a bill from a hospital that's not yours. And the second thing is you've now got a medical record that just got created in your name that is not you. Blood type, allergies. So I would say to you, check your medical records. Go to your health insurance company, check your medical records, and make sure that everything that's going on with your medical insurance is you. You can do that every year. It's your absolute honor and your right to get your medical records.
That's why you should read all your explanation of benefits when they show you have an online account. You should routinely look at it when you get those emails that tell you you have a new explanation of benefits. You didn't just go to the doctor, you might want to check it out. You know, if you didn't go, you didn't have any services, go on, look at your EOBs, make sure it's you, make sure it's your provider, make sure that service was you. If it wasn't, you got to contact someone right away because someone's inside using your benefit.
So here we get to the pain in the ass part. How do you keep yourself safe? Well, still, we will never learn. Someone with a 6-number code, like we all have on our Apple phones, a hacker could get into that in minutes, unfortunately. So you have to make your passwords hard, and you have to change them on a regular basis. And unfortunately, you know, you still have to do it the old-fashioned way. Do it, change it. So then on the next slide, you'll see that if you go to this slide, you can see that if you have just 6 numbers, a hacker can get in minutes. When you go to numbers, letters, capital letters, and alphanumerics, and then you go to 12 columns of that, it takes them thousands of years to get in. So it's pretty obvious, right? The harder you make your password, and the more often you change it, the safer you will be protecting yourself.
Keep in mind, that doesn't mean capital N, Nick, capital W, Williams, 1, 2, 3, exclamation point, and the idea of changing it is moving the exclamation point to the front, and then move it back to the back. You have to be creative. If you use 12 characters and it's your name or your home address, you're really defeating the purpose. So it's not just about 12, it's a random 12.
Absolutely. So what do we do? So what you're now going to have, if everything goes through, is that if something happens to you, you now have us. Because the question that we always hear, where do I go to when something like this happens to me? So you can go to law enforcement, you can file a criminal report, but then the police are going, unfortunately, they're undermanned for this. They're going to say, okay, best of luck. So you now have us, right? So it could be IRS fraud, medical insurance fraud, credit card fraud, bank fraud. And again, going back to what the OTC said, this is just a case of when it's going to happen, not if it happens. If you went into the dark web, all of our information's out there on the dark web, just sitting there waiting for someone to scoop it up and fraudulently abuse our socials and our identities, right? Not much you can do about it, but I guarantee you it's out there, sitting there. So now you have us. This is not going to cost you anything. The union is supplying this to you as a union benefit. And believe me, it's a lot more inexpensive than you might believe. Do we go there?
Sure.
So this is going to cost, for all of you and your households, $3 for every one of you per year, which protects your whole house. $3 a year. So it's a fantastic service, we believe. It's highly personalized. This is how it works. If something happens to you, you call the number, you call us. We react very quickly. We're not that big a company, so we can react very, very quickly, and we pride ourselves on a very personalized service. You call us. It is discreet, private, so this is not shared with the union. You're coming to us. Well, we can't. The privacy laws would not allow us anyway, but it's very, very discreet. And we take an awful lot of phone calls that say, I just did something stupid. Okay, don't worry about it. The first call is normally, the sky is falling, I'm worried as hell that something bad is happening, and we're going to clean it all up for you. And we've never failed. Can't guarantee it, but we've never failed. If you do something bad on your own, we can't do too much about that. But if someone is abusing your identity, we clean it up. And then we give you, for 12 months, something that you may have heard of. It's our product, but it's like LifeLock. We're going to give you credit monitoring with 3 bureaus for 12 months. Because once you've had your identity stolen, unfortunately, the risk of you getting hacked again goes up 20-fold. So you get that, no additional charge for 12 months. I believe that's it, Rob.
I agree. Listen,
Oh, you heard
first
enough?
of all, thank you. I gotta tell you something. This is the third time I've seen Nick's presentation. Between the new mark on his face.
I kinda like this.
This is a bit of a crowded house. I would say this. It's a great service. When it was first presented in front of me, there were 5 people that do exactly what I do for their respective unions that didn't even want to let him get a word in edgewise because they were so proactive at saying that this is a great service to provide for our members. For us, at this price point, it gives us the opportunity not only to help our current members and those folks in your household, but to now be able to bring our retirees back into the fold with this presentation and this product is an even better situation for us as a labor union. You know, understand one thing. The older we are, the smarter we think we are. And the one thing I can guarantee you is the older we are, the more stubborn we get. And I had it happen with my own family, where someone in my family had an issue, got locked out of their own computer, wouldn't talk to me. Would only talk to, I almost said who it was, and then I'll get in trouble later. But the reality is they would only talk to one other person in their family, and that person got so frustrated, they told me what happened. We were able to resolve the issue. But sometimes our own pride, our own stubbornness leads to taking a simple issue, like one of the lower end issues that Nick discussed, and now complicates it and makes it much, much bigger. And now maybe you give someone access to a bank account, or you give someone access to your medical benefits. You don't ever want to open that door, but when you do, God forbid, you now have someone that can help you. It's you heard it, it's a personalized service. You're not going to get to run around, you're not calling 5 different countries, small company, private session. I don't know. We're not going to know. Respectfully, I don't want to know. I want you to be able to have that confidential conversation with ID Solutions so that you can get the help that you need. Because it's not stuff that we do, it's stuff that they do. So we're really proud to be able to do this, and God willing, we'll be able to do everything we need to do with the contracts, and we may be able to get this launched as early as February for all of you. And again, hopefully no one ever needs it. And it's the easiest $3 a year we can send Nick and his fine people, and they can just go about helping others. But the reality is, I guarantee there's potentially even someone in this room who already needs this help.
Yep.
And either doesn't know where to go, or thinks they got it under control, or they're listening to a coworker or a family member as opposed to a professional. So, Nick, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that, if you have any questions, I'll be here for a few minutes. If you need my information, I've left some things at the back. But does anyone have any questions about what we do or wants to talk to me? I'll be at the back. Any
For the
questions
record,
at all?
this man drove all the way here from South Jersey, and he's going to drive home in this monsoon. So thank you again. Nick.
Cheers. All right.
Thank you, Nick. Al.
So good to see you. Thank you.
And again, there's nothing for you to do up front. Thanks, Nick. There's nothing for you to do up front. God forbid your credit is hacked or attacked. That's when you make the phone call, and that's when you give Nick and his company your information, and you go from there. Okay? It's just it's a special program that we're piloting for you folks. And hopefully we don't need it, but thankfully it's there. Moving along, and we have a tight packed agenda tonight, so we're going to try and have our reports truncated a little bit. But we have some folks here from Amalgamated Bank, I believe, if I have the name right, Damiano Tulipani. Did I get that right? Michael? Come on up. We can clap for the bank guy.
I'll do a quick introduction, and just before we start, I want to confirm that offer goes out to all the members and all presenters, correct? Just want to get that in the minutes. My name is Mike Line. I'm Chief Trust Officer of Amalgamated Bank. We're located in New York. We are a bank founded on labor 100 years ago. We had our 100-year anniversary from Amalgamated Clothing Workers of America. So we're here today, timely, as Rob, Allie, and Joe asked me. We met a few weeks back to say, hey, come talk about cybersecurity. And I said, perfect. I'm not your guy, but I know someone who is, which is our Chief Information Securities Officer, Damiano Tulipani. So we have a few minutes here today. Obviously, within the banking sector, we have a lot of sensitive information. Damiano is an expert, and since we're right around the holidays, I think it's the perfect time that he could just walk through the scene, everything that you need to be wary of, and everything you need to look out for. So we really appreciate the time, and thanks for letting us participate today. Damiano?
You could use your name as a password. That was a little tough.
I think my name is Irish, right? Yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Damiano Tulipani. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at Amalgamated Bank. I've been in the industry for over 20-something years. I've seen it all. I used to head up cybersecurity, cyber defense. I used to do a lot of ethical hacking. So we're going to probably get a little bit deep and dark. I promise not to scare you, but just again, trial and error, right? Going through the layers of protection. Nick did a phenomenal job. It felt like that Nick actually stole my thunder here, so I'm going to try to complement where I can. So, been at the bank 6 months, right? The idea of a Chief Information Security Officer is to protect the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the data. And what I mean by data, customer data, transactional data, anything that revolves around the customer, it's on my shoulders to protect, right, as a chief officer. So if we could just, move forward. So I know that I'm very limited. I really want to focus on areas of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has become a business risk. And when I talk about cyber, I talk about risk. What is your risk? What is the risk you're willing to take on as an individual? What is your risk that you want to take on when it comes to your identity? Do you want to protect your identity, or do you just want to let it just roam around the internet, like Nick was saying? You have to take a precaution measures to help protect your identity, right? So I'll walk through this stuff. I think there's another. Mike, being on the computer all day long, your eyes. I want to talk about passwords. How many people use the same password for multiple systems? Be honest with me. Please stop doing it. Please stop doing it. I actually just came from a CISO conference in Miami, and one of my peers in the CISO community, her daughter, not even 11 years old, was able to hack into their school because people were using the same passwords, right? There's a way to manage your passwords. There's a password lock, there's a password vault. There are options for you to help protect your password. There's 3 things that make up a good, solid, identified password, how to protect yourself. It's something you know, which is your password. Something you have. It's some kind of application that says, hey, I'm going to send you a code. And then when you're logging in, is this you? Let's put in that code. Let's make sure. It's called multi-factor authentication or 2-factor authentication. And if you don't have MFA or 2FA on your social media accounts, on your bank accounts, on any account that you think it's important to you, please go home and turn on MFA. It reduces that friction, it reduces that risk, and it helps you protect your identity. And then the last one is something that, something you are, your biometric, right? Facial recognition. So when you start using both of these combinations, you make a really good, solid password to protect your identity. There is a 4th one that the federal government just released, is somewhere you are. So if it sees that your login information was in New Jersey or New York, but now you're seeing it's being in California or overseas, hey, wait a minute, let's stop this, right? It steps up your authentication. It says, hey, do me a favor, I'm going to send you a code to your phone, right? Let's make sure it's you, right? Let's make sure it's you verified. Longer is better for passwords. And if we go to the next screen. So I think Nick showed that screen there. So when I started out in the business, by the way, if you guys can see that screen, please tell me nobody has those passwords. And all right.
What do they say?
It's like an eye exam, right? But anyhow.
Your password is password.
Right, password's password, right? If it is, please go home and change it. When we do a penetration test, it's called pen testing against our environments. We do a pen test against known dictionary passwords, and it doesn't take much for us to crack these passwords using simple technology that is free on the internet today. So I have a clever way of keeping my passwords in sync. So you could even write them down somewhere, right, in a password protected file, and you write clues. But I like to use something like this. Start with a passphrase. I smell flowers in the morning, right? Smell flowers in the morning, yeah, water them at night. Take the first letter of each password and type it out. Now you started creating a good, solid password, right? Then you want to make it more secure. Let's start add some complexity, add some numbers, add some uppercases. Maybe you want to take the 4th letter of that passphrase and make it uppercase. And then you start introducing numbers and special symbols. When you do that, to Nick's point, you're going to need probably quantum computing to try to crack a password at that point, right? And then you say, well, I could use the same password, so going back to my original question, right? You could use the same password, but you get creative, right? And if you have Facebook, then prefix it with FB. FB underscore. You have Snap, a lot of Snap users here. SN, I don't know what it is. Amazon, AM. Now you can use that same password, but you have different variations, right? So it gives you an idea to help create a strong, good, solid password. Because when you have a password like this, it's going to take a while for you to crack it. Not even the NSA has that kind of capability to crack it. So get serious with passwords. I think it's very important. Helps protect your identity, helps to make you who you are when it comes to securing your digital assets. Your digital assets, unfortunately, this thing has become your lifeline. And if you can't protect this, then you're not protecting your identity. You're allowing perpetrators, you're allowing adversaries, you're allowing bad actors just to walk into your digital world and take whatever you want from it. So think about that for a little bit. We'll go on to the next slide. Let's see. I think Nick talked about this. He talked about the dark web. Anybody know about what dark web is? Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't recommend you guys start to surf and get out to the dark web. It's really bad. I would guarantee you that if you're not cautious, you will probably get infected, and probably with ransomware. So there's 3 layers to the internet. When you go to Google, that's the first layer. That's your internet layer. Then you have the deep web. The deep web is like where all your retail stores are, like Amazon, Walmart, like all those guys, right? Those big, they still.
All those good 90s.
Yeah. And then you have the deep web, the dark web. And the dark web is like really where your data sits right now, and it's being sold to brokers. And there's this thing called access brokers. What they do is they actually try to go out. They try to set a foothold in a corporation. And then once they set a foothold, then they put it out on the dark web and say, hey, I have access to this organization because we just exploited this vulnerability. How much money? Who has the most to pay me? And once that Bitcoin is paid, then from there, there's telemetry, and then they get in and start to move in. And then they can just sit there. They sit there, they wait, they're patient, they collect, and then boom, they come in and encrypt the entire organization.
How many people here work at Stop and Shop?
That happened just recently.
How many people have been victim to their wonderful new restrictions because they no longer have access to some of their systems? It's exactly what he's talking about. They absolutely do. But everything that he's discussing with you right now, this is not fictitious. This exists in the employer that we're currently getting paid from. One of the largest employers on the East Coast in the supermarket industry, one of the largest union employers on the East Coast. I can also tell you unofficially, and we'll never tell you the names, but 3 or 4 of the other employers that we represent have also been hacked in the last 18 to 24 months. Some quickly paid the ransom. Others refused to pay the ransom, like Stop and Shop. And they're slowly but surely trying to rebuild what they can no longer access because it's being held for ransom. So this is, if it can happen to them, how much easier can it happen to you? That's the reason this is all being presented to you today.
Yeah, and thank you for that, right? So the reality is real. We live in a very technological world. Nick mentioned it with AI. AI is just a disruptor technology. I think it's actually here to stay. The last disruption we had in technology was, anybody? Your smartphone. That was the last disruptor that we had in technology. It's made our lives a lot easier, but it's made our lives more vulnerable, right? Because we don't know how to protect these devices. So I'm not gonna spend time on this, but we'll go on to the next one because I know email security. Listen, if you don't know who's sending you that email, delete it. It's as simple as that, right? I get very condescending because if I get an email, I don't know who it is, it's gone. And if somebody's picking up the phone, they say, hey, Damiano, I sent you an email. I'm like, oh, my bad, send it to me again, if it's that important, right? So that's the kind of stance that I take. But if you have somebody like a Jane or Judy or whoever it is sending you an email at 3 o'clock in the morning, is it legit that you get an email at 3 o'clock in the morning with an attachment and an invoice? Think about it. It's just common sense, right? When it comes to emails, when it comes to submission, which is your SMS messages, I just got a good one the other day. It was impersonating the CEO. It's like, hey, could you go get me gift cards? I'm like, yeah, right, okay, right. So it's things like that. What happened is with these types of events, they're called social engineering. They put fear into you. They want you to react, and they want you to react quickly. Your job as a consumer is to just step back, take a deep breath, and figure out, hey, is this really legit? Right? Is it legit? Is my CEO actually asking me to go get gift cards? Right? Think about it, right? So email attachments, just be very careful, right? Who they're from, right? If it has an attachment, if it has a link, if you're using your computer and you hover over with your mouse over that link, it actually would tell you where it's going to go. And if that string, that URL, right, doesn't match the URL of that username, you see Molly Conley, right? It's going to a malicious site. Chances are it's going to a malicious site, all right? And what it's going to do, it's going to do a few things. It's either going to drop a payload on your device, or it's going to actually do what's called a C2, command and control. Right, that payload is going to help to communicate back and forth, and as you're interacting with your phone, it's going to send the stuff over to that payload server, that command server. So now they have full insight into your digital world. So be very careful with emails. Like I said, if you don't know it, I'm like, if it looks like fish, it smells like fish, it's got to be fish, right? Delete it, right? So next one. Mobile devices, listen, I can't get more animated about mobile devices. Who runs antivirus on their mobile devices? I can't expect a lot of people, right? All right, so please get into the habit of looking at a mobile antivirus software for your phones. They're out there. Anti-malware, right? Yes, sir.
Any that you recommend?
I have no interest in these companies, right? So, Lookout Security is one of them. I use Malware Bytes for anti-malware, and Malware Bytes is just it's just an amazing tool. I actually met the creator of Malware Bytes. He was 15 years old when he created the software out of California. He's a pure genius out of Cali, and he was tired of fixing his mom's computer because of constantly getting infected. So he created this called Malware Bytes. And what it does is it actually helps in protecting your devices, not only phone, your computers at home, tablets, things like that. So you could get like a package and use that package for multiple devices. The other one is VPN. Does anybody know what VPN is? Virtual Private Network. Who uses the Wi-Fi at the airport? Please let me know when you do, because I want to be there. Because I'm going to sit in line with my computer and my tools and interact with your traffic. Or if you're using the free Wi-Fi on the plane. Right, so VPN, what VPN does is it's really cool technology. It just takes the transaction, right, that data stream, it encrypts it, and it encrypts it end to end. So if you need to go to Amazon, you need to go where? It's encrypted. It's going to be harder for what's called a man-in-the-middle attack. So if I'm standing in the middle and you're not using VPN and you're on an open Wi-Fi, chances are I might be able to get some telemetry out of that traffic. But if it's encrypted, it's going to be harder for me to do it, right? There's NordVPN. I'm a big fan of NordVPN. What I like about NordVPN is that they have servers throughout the world. So if you travel, you can always turn on NordVPN, right, and get that level of protection for your phones. Let's see. Yeah, so Find My iPhone. A lot of iPhone users here. Make sure you practice that every once in a while, right? Go into the app, make sure that it's working. Make sure that you're able to locate your phone, locate your devices. Android users? Ooh. Yes. My people. My people.
I like my
Thank you. I found a new friend. I've been an Android user all my life. The first time I used a Mac, I rebooted it and I put Kali Linux on it, which is a hacking tool that I use. I like Apple, but Apple's finally starting to come around and paying attention to what it takes to protect devices and computers. So they're starting to get there, but the Android platform has always been with the mindset of protecting the operating system and protecting what's on it, right? So find my iPhone, same thing for the Android. They have, my device locator as well. Hotspots, guys, seriously, hotspots is really bad. If you're going for a coffee or Starbucks or something, you're jumping on the Wi-Fi, be careful. That's all I have to say. I was at the airport yesterday in Miami. My plane was delayed, and I was having some fun. We're not being recorded, right? So I was having some fun. Oh, damn it. All right. I got the FBI on my phone, so we're good. So listen, it's that man in the middle attack, right, that you have to worry about, right? Even though you think that you're on a cafe, is who has the same password to that network and inspecting that traffic going back and forth to the internet, right? Who's acting as that man in the middle? So if you have VPN, it's going to be harder for you, right, to have your identity stolen. Passwords, please don't use 4-digit passwords anymore. It's just so easy to crack these days. 6, 8, even better. Combination of passwords, bio, things like that. You try, get creative, right? We'll go to the next one. Physical security. I love physical security. I do a lot of social engineering. I actually social engineered myself into the building tonight. I got here, there was nobody here. I'm knocking on the door, and the cleaning lady just let me in. Now, if I was I had malicious intent, I could just walk right in. Right? Get used of knowing who's around you.
Somebody let our former cleaning lady know she shouldn't have done that.
So I threw the poor lady under the bus. Meanwhile, she did me a solid. But anyhow.
Helpful guy to have around.
What else you got?
Well, I got a password for Wi-Fi, so that was my other social engineering. So I apologize in advance, guys.
I
But
can guarantee you that it's just a guest Wi-Fi. It has no permissions to go on.
no, actually, it was. I haven't really dived deeper into it, but I was able to get in and just a little digging, right? But social engineering is one of your biggest social tactics. Is how could somebody get into a building without really authenticating who they are, right? And the biggest social engineering tactics are tailgating, piggybacking, right? It's like, hey, you're walking in the door. Most likely, if somebody's behind you and their hands are full, you're being socially engineered. Because could you hold that door for me? Yes, we're all friendly people. We'll let everybody in. But hey, do you work here? Stop and shop, right? Somebody's going through the back, through the warehouse. Hey, do you work here? Who you are? Oh, I'm so-and-so. Let me see your ID. You should have the right as an employee of the organization to question anybody that's in your building. Because it's not just a physical, a cyber concern. It's a physical concern. You might have a crazy that's out there that's just going to walk right in and take care of business, right? So question everybody. That's all I'm saying. The best one I had was the holiday where we walked in with a whole bunch of cakes and everything and Christmas, and we just walked in. And the other thing about social engineering with physical security is that if you walk in and I have my laptop, I'm going to attempt to get on that network. Because if I have access to that network and I could get access to a computer or data, then I could actually start to offload and exfiltrate that data somewhere else. The other thing that I would say is, even for your personal devices, if you're not using them, lock it. Because the other thing that we do when we social engineer is who leaves their computer unlocked. I don't know what access you have, but I will try to see what access you have. Is how could I get data out of that machine, out of that network, into some kind of Amazon server that I'm running, right? So lock your workstations where possible. Paperwork, sensitive paper. I'm assuming that you probably have like disposal bins, right? Get used to that. Shredders. When I was doing my master's degree, we had to do a social engineering exercise. I did my master's in Stevens in Hoboken. And one of the things that we did is social engineer the dumpster diving technique. We actually would walk around with looking at people's garbage cans and looking at their recycles. Who peels off their label after they get a box from Amazon and shreds it? Thank you. I should see everybody's hand go up. It's dumpster diving, right? It's the easiest way for me to get your data. Now, I know it's on the internet, but I could just walk around, make believe I'm walking my dog, take a picture. Now I know your first name, last name, home address, and now I can start building a digital profile on you. And now that gives me that leverage to start to laterally move with your ID, with your identity, right? So shred it where possible. By the way, I'm considered the data privacy officer in my house. My family just hates me because I just put them to the cross when it comes to security. So, but anyhow,
We're gonna need to wrap.
yep, I'm done. Let's see, next. Social engineering, we talked about it, let's move on. User education, I'm doing that right now, that's cool. AI, we talked about it, right? Just, listen, recommendations, strong passwords. Get to know, right, get to know your passwords. You're using the same password, go ahead and reset them. Get into that cadence of resetting passwords.
Question.
Yes,
What about when they offer a password, they say it's a stronger password and it's, 10 different digits and letters and, do you recommend using those? Or
who's recommending the password?
shopping,
If it's coming through the Apple platform, right, the browser, so I don't save passwords in my browser. Matter of fact, we have a company policy that we don't save no passwords in the browser. I'll tell you why, if I'm given enough time. Because if I could get access to your machine by using your login credential, it's that same password, I need to unlock that vault in your browser. And I did this to my father-in-law. He was 80 years old, and I taught him a lesson.
Fun at the holidays.
I'm a blast. I'm a blast. I'm a blast. But the point that I'm trying to make is that if I could get access to that password vault, right, now I have all your credentials. And the way I was able to change my father-in-law's mind was that, okay, here's your bank account, here's your statement, here's your balance, these are your stocks, right? And I just started going into each account,
I
right?
have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there more hacks that happen more often during the holidays?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually on my list to mention. Holiday scams are up.
Years ago, 2 days before Christmas.
We tend to take a back seat and relax during the holidays, where adversaries don't. Think about that, right? Every time there's a holiday, I'm on the call with my FBI agent to say, hey, any credible, intel that we should be concerned about? Because if I get credible intel, then we're on high alert the whole weekend, right? During the elections, we were supporting the elections. We were getting pinged every other minute because of the hacks that were coming in from China, Russia, and Iran. It was really, really bad. Awareness, secure browsing, security ways, training, privacy. I think Nick mentioned it. Please, if your credit is not frozen, it's the most simplest way to protect your identity. Freeze your credit. Just freeze your credit. And if you need access to your credit, you can do it right from the phone, right? You could just throw in your credit.
Everybody understands what that means. That means putting a lock on it, so no one can open anything new, take new loans. Doesn't mean you can't spend the money you have, doesn't mean you can't use your credit card. It just means nobody else can do anything new and exciting. It's frozen unless you unlock it, they can't lock, they can't.
Yeah. It's the most simplest way to protect your identity, right? The other thing I want to mention is if you're not doing it today, is set up alerts on your cards, right? So your credit cards, so all my alerts are set to 0. That means that if you charge a penny, I'm getting an alert. And the reason why I do that is this thing called trickle charge. So the adversaries, once they get foothold into your account, they're going to charge like a penny, 5 cents, 10 cents, and so on and so forth, until they're like charging, $700, $800, right? So put alerts on your card. I remember the first time I did it, I called my wife. I'm like, what's up? You shopping at Old Navy? And she's like, you're tracking me? I'm like, well, besides that, I got an alert. Is it you? Yes, okay, we're good. Right, so get into that cadence, right? Especially, yeah, I'm fun at parties. And then,
Your invitation's supposed to be piling up the next thing.
the other thing is that I'm trying to run through this. If you're hit with identity theft, right, and I think Nick said it, right, you want to file a police report. It's so important to file a police report because that protects you going forward. Not only that, you want to submit that identity theft to the, it's called the ic3.org, which is the FBI's website, right? You want to make sure that you go on record saying that your identity has been, has been tampered with and has been hacked, right? And then there's one site called Have I Been Pawned? It's a great website. I should have threw it up here, right? And what I love about that site is that you could actually put in your email address, and it'll actually show you all the sites that have been breached that have your record. All right, and it's an easy way. I get alerts, so I'm a little bit different. I get alerts, but at least you go to the site, and you can actually see what vendors have been breached that have your data. And by the way, like the stack of breach notifications are getting larger and larger on my desk, but I don't care. My credit's frozen, right? It's simple things like that. So, I think I'm done.
Okay. Will you be here later to answer questions at the
Yeah.
end of the meeting?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll just leave you with this, one more. Mr. Robot fans, it's the most, yes, I got a hand, good. I love Mr. Robot. I actually met the director in California when they were filming this. It's the most real-life hacking show that's out there today. And what I love about this is that every time I watch it 4 times, I learn more and more how to, break into systems. And it makes me a better practitioner. But it doesn't take much to know who you are just by talking to you. Because if you listen, I'll guarantee you I'm most likely going to be able to generate a password out of that conversation and get telemetry. So be careful of who you talk to and how you and what you say. So I think that's it.
Thank you.
And that, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move along, all right? Our next speaker will be, as Rob introduced him earlier, the director of the UFCW National Bargaining Department, Brian Wynn.
Thanks, guys. It's a real pleasure to be able to stand in front of you tonight. I've been with the UFCW for 32 years. I came up through the business working in the stores, became active as a shop steward, was on the executive board, bargaining committee, got hired on to local unions. I spent about 22 years with the local unions. And then over the last 10, I have worked for the International. Prior to being your national bargaining director, I was the regional director on the West Coast. So some of you have always heard about this massive contract in Southern California that covers about 75,000 people. I bargained that the last 3 contracts. And so I've grown up through this business. I've grown up doing the same things that you guys have done, and I've sat in many rooms like this. And so to be able to have that opportunity to stand in front of you tonight to kind of talk to you about what's happening out there across the country, not just locally, and to be able to just address all of you tonight is just a real honor for me, because all of us sitting up here and are standing around this room, we work for you, right? And when I travel this country, which I unfortunately do a lot, and I go into a lot of grocery stores, I love meeting all of you inside the grocery stores. And my first question to people is like, how long have you been here? And I get to know a little bit about them, and then I take pride in telling them that I work for them, right? Because that's something that I never want to lose sight of, is that the things that we do is all because of you, and how can we make your lives better? And so what you have heard here today already, you've heard stuff about identity theft. You've heard stuff about, making sure you're secure in what you do. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is like trends that are happening in the industry. And we heard a little bit about artificial intelligence, but I'm going to actually tell you exactly what is happening with artificial intelligence inside our grocery stores. What's happening out there as we speak right now. Because every one of you right now has some form of artificial intelligence that's affecting you, whether you believe that or not. Every single one of our employers is using artificial intelligence today. They've all admitted it to us. They're absolutely using it, and it's going to continue to grow. Now, when President Perone asked me to kind of take on this subject, about a year ago, we started just asking other unions what they were doing. That has evolved now to where I am working with the MIT, Harvard, the UC Berkeley Labor Center, Cornell, the UCLA Labor Center, and about 12 different international unions over in Europe that were all going through this project together. Last week, I had a meeting with all of the nurses and technicians. We have Kaiser Hospitals, which is one of the largest hospital chains in the country. And I gave a big speech about artificial intelligence. So when you talk about how medical records are so important, Kaiser, as we currently sit here today, and almost every hospital chain now, has adapted artificial intelligence that instead of having a doctor have like a nurse practitioner or an aide with them, they're using artificial intelligence to actually take in all the data instead of them sitting there typing it in on a computer. Now they'll ask you up front, do you mind if I have this recorded? But artificial intelligence is doing that. But when you look at like what our stores have and what's happening there, the big thing they're using right now is called computer vision. And what is computer vision? Computer vision is they know the traffic that is coming into the stores. They're putting cameras up all over the place, okay? If you go into a Kroger store, which a lot of you don't have here, if you go into a Kroger store and you go to the front where the checkout lane's out, it looks like a big bingo board is up on front with these big number balls on it. And what it's doing is that artificial intelligence is learning where people are at inside the store, and it's telling them that right now we need 2 checkers. In 15 minutes we need 3. In 25 to 30 minutes we might only need 2. But then what it's doing is it's taking that information over a period of time and saying, okay, this last month, you need to cut hours out of this week and add them into this week between these hours. They are using artificial intelligence to figure out how many hours they can cut out of schedules, where they need to schedule them. That's why if you look at like Project 2025 with the new administration, that is exactly why they want to move to, there's no more overtime after 8, and overtime is actually over 80 in 2 weeks. Because these companies, these tech companies have like partnered up with Trump now. And this isn't a political statement, this is just what I'm trying to tell you what's happening, is because Facebook, Google, Tesla, you name it, have all got artificial intelligence things that they want to implement, and the only thing holding them back is the federal government right now. And all of these things are coming to us today. You walk into an Amazon warehouse right now, somebody has to wear a bracelet inside the warehouse. It tells me that my job is to pick this bottle up and set it over here. That bracelet is paying attention to how fast I'm doing that. If I slow down, they are using artificial intelligence HR software to write you up. Artificial intelligence can terminate you at Amazon. So there's never a human being that is touching what the work is. If you're off, and let's say you're sick and you're in the bathroom too long, it'll vibrate you to tell you to get back, and it'll automatically send you a write-up. But here's the other thing it's doing, and this is where our employers are also taking it. Our employers absolutely are using artificial intelligence, they have already told us this, to figure out who they're going to hire next. So Amazon, let's say every one of us works in an Amazon warehouse. It is tracking what each one of us does well. Then it is building a model employee. But at the same time, it's scrubbing every bit of your digital footprint, social media, anything that it can get access to. And then it's determining who they think is the good workers and who are the bad workers. And then it's scrubbing all the new hires to see if they have any of these traits. And I guarantee you the number one thing that they have admitted and they've gotten in trouble for is they're looking to see if you are pro-worker. Are you pro-union? And you are automatically cut out before you even get a chance to interview. Our employers right now are using this same technology before they hire somebody. They are scrubbing people's social media networks. They are scrubbing your history to see where you're at. They are doing that as we currently stand here today. Some of you that work at Stop and Shop know about Marty the Robot, right? That Marty the Robot in different parts of the country right now has a different name, but it's going down the aisles and actually ordering the product. There's no longer a person that's ordering the product. They are also, it's taking the back warehouses and saying that, hey, the tomato sauce is out in aisle 3. And it sends the report back to the back room, which is telling another robot to pull tomato sauce off of that certain warehouse rack and put it on a skid for somebody to go take it out. But the bigger thing that they have admitted that they're trying to do, so any of us that go to the grocery store, right, the only way for us to get like the cheapest price or the sale price is we'd have to use a customer card or we have to put in our alternate ID, right? That is all data that they are tracking. Our employers actually sell that data off to Kraft, Heinz, you name it, for them to figure out what kind of sale items they're going to do. They can say, we've got 1.2 million people that bought a bottle of ketchup last week. And they can go use that information to do that. But what they're also doing is, I shop every Saturday. So every 7 days I go to the grocery store to buy what I want. I can tell you right now, so I just came living in California. So I dealt with a company that's called Vons. It's a division of Albertsons and Safeway. Vons will send me on a Friday an email saying, hey, I know every 7 days you buy these items. How about we just have that shipped to your house and you don't have to worry about it? Why is that worrisome? It's worrisome because companies like Kroger, which I'll talk about in a minute, that was trying to do a mega merger that blew up in the last 48 hours. But what they have is they have a full digital robotic warehouse. So you have artificial intelligence looking at what your shopping habits are, creates a shopping list for you, sends it to a robotic warehouse that pulls those products and boxes them up, and the only person that touches that product is the last mile delivery driver, which happens to be DoorDash, Instacart, Uber Eats, and so forth. So how did any of us touch any of that product? We didn't. We didn't. Walmart right now is using artificial intelligence to negotiate to buy their product. They're starting to get rid of their whole team that are buyers. If they want 10 truckload trailers of paper towels, they tell Kimberly Clark that you have to email us what that proposal looks like, and they're using an artificial intelligence bot to bargain to get the price that they want. That is what they're doing today. And not a single person is touching any one of those transactions. This is the future of what we're trying to do. Now, not trying to be doom and gloom, the reason why we bring this to you is because we need your help. We need all of you to come together. We are making sure that in our contracts now, that we make sure that a human being has to touch every single thing that you do. We are making sure that we have staffing levels that we never had to really do before, that we never get replaced by a robot. We don't get replaced by technology. Because right now, the only thing holding all of this back is a UPC code. That is the only thing keeping us where we're at. And the reason why I say that is because the technology isn't there yet. Like Amazon's been trying this scan and go where you pick it up and you leave. But if you go into one of those, because every airport now is going to Amazon's technology for their little gift shops and if you want to get water or anything. You go in any airport now, they have that technology. But take a look up in the ceiling. There's probably about 3,500, 4,000 cameras up there. And there's sensors for when you pick things up. But what the industry is wanting to go to is what's called RFID tagging and get rid of UPCs. And the reason for that is because if you go to RFID tags, it's a little magnetic tag that you can run through basically a tunnel. So you could have, let's take all the groceries we buy for Thanksgiving. You take that cart, you push it through the tunnel, it automatically weighs and checks out every single that cart in an instant. So when you walk in the store, you already give them your payment information, and when you walk out, it's already done. Now, one of the scariest things that I have seen in the last 6 to 8 months is I got the opportunity to go to Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. It's the #1 robotics lab in the world. They have now created what's called the grape robot. So most of us know like robots are used in like the auto industry, the manufacturing industry, and all of that. But where it really hasn't been able to affect us is the fact of you can't have a robot do all these other things that we do, right? But what they have created, this grape robot, it can take artificial intelligence, takes that belt of groceries that comes down, knows exactly whatever every item is, how to maximize to stack that into a grocery bag, and it knows the difference of what it takes to pick this up and set it in the bag or it can reach down and grab one single grape without crushing it. That technology has never been out there before. It's tactile technology. So it can pick up a loaf of bread, at the same time it can go right back and pick up a 1-gallon can of green beans. And knows exactly where to stock that. Our employers are the ones throwing all the money behind this technology to be produced. So all of us have to make sure that when you guys go to the bargaining table, when you guys have the opportunity to vote in your contracts, that we don't say, you know what, I really don't want to do that, so it's okay if that technology comes in and does this. Because as I was telling your executive board before, as I look at what happens to all 1.3 million of our members across the country, millions and millions of hours a year are coming out of our schedules that we don't have people working. Millions are coming out every single year. I had a meeting with Kroger the other day. They admitted they're 20,000 people short, over 50,000 hours a month short right now in their current schedules. That is affecting us in a lot of different parts of the country when it comes to our health and welfare and our pension. You guys don't have an hourly contribution like a lot of the people do across the country, so it doesn't affect you as much, but eventually they want to get to that point. So all of you have given up over years money that would have gone to your wages to make sure your benefits were protected and that you had that retirement and all of that. And so that has caused us a lot of problems. You've heard about, we have this SFA money. It's a special financing thing that Biden put it across the table to help shore up our national pension system for our pension funds. I can tell you that the UFCW alone across the country has received about $8.2 billion worth of pension fund money is when this project's done, is about what will go to help shore up our pension plans. And a lot of the reason for that shortfall is because of all these hours that are coming out of the schedules as they find new things. And what's the shame of it is like a lot of people like, man, I'm really busy. So if they have a way that's gonna help ease that up, those are hours that don't go to somebody else. Those are hours that may not, some of us might be full-time and work 40 hours, but it's those part-time jobs that we used to have. It's the amount of full-time jobs we used to have. So we have to constantly make sure that we're fighting to make sure that doesn't do that. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, we cannot talk about that technology piece goes hand in hand because that's where they're putting all their efforts as we go forward. When it comes to contracts themselves, we are still settling contracts across this country that have dollars in each year of the contracts, but that window is going to close as well as we start to go through that. So the only way we're going to make sure we continue to get those kind of amounts of monies in our contract is for all of us to come together and make sure that we're standing strong for not just you, but also those people that are coming behind you. Think about what would have happened if people 30 years ago wouldn't have stood up for some things that we all take the benefit for today. So we always have to constantly think about those that are coming behind us and not just ourselves. And then one of the last things I'll talk about is this Kroger-Albertsons merger. And that was going to be the largest grocery merger that was going to happen in this country. And it was a fundamental change in regards to what was going to happen here. And so, for 2 years, they've been trying to see if they can try to get this merger done. Now, for all of you here on the East Coast, it probably was going to be a real benefit to you to have a very large company that has never had a presence in the East to probably grow here on the East Coast. But once you start to move yourself across the country, okay, you get to the Midwest, the merger really wasn't going to have that big of an impact, really kind of in Dallas and a little bit in Chicago, where it would have had a difference. But you get out to the West Coast, you have Kroger has 3 different brands of stores in California, and Albertsons has 4 different brands of stores that are in California that are on top of each other. So I can tell you right now, between Kroger and Albertsons in the state of California, there's about 3,000 grocery stores, just in that. 100,000 members work between those 2 companies just in the state of California that we have under contract. And so what happened is that the government did its case and tried to say, hey, by you merging together, you were going to create a monopoly that would be able to do the price fix, you'd be able to dictate the market, you'd be able to do all of that. The companies tried to say, hey, if we do this, we're actually going to lower prices. And they made a commitment that they were going to lower prices. I think we can always have that argument, would it have been beneficial or not? But our position always was, is this going to affect any one of our members? are our members going to be affected? What happens? And neither one of those companies could give us an answer to that. Now, Rob sits on the executive board for the International, and we had these very large discussions prior to our convention in 2018 to walk through, do we oppose it, do we work with it, or do we stay neutral? But when we eventually had that discussion with everybody from across the country, we decided to oppose it. And so, as a group, we opposed it. At the convention, the governing body opposed that merger. And so the other day, the judges ruled that they said, no, we're going to block this merger. Now, Kroger and them had the opportunity to go back, and they had the opportunity to appeal that decision. But early this morning, Albertsons decided to terminate the agreement, which they had a right to do if the merger didn't go through. They terminated the agreement, and now Albertsons Safeway is suing Kroger for not getting the merger to go through because they said it directly affected what happened. So we are going to be paying really close attention to what happens with that as we go forward, because that will directly have an effect for all of you. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be with Rob and all the locals here in Region 1 and 2 as we start to prepare for Ahold as it comes forward with Stop and Shop and all of the other contracts that are coming up. From where we sit today until December 31st of 2025, across the country, we have 1,500 contracts that expire that cover almost 500,000 of our 1.3 million members. So we are going to have a busy year as we go forward. But what our job at the International and my job as the National Bargaining Director is to give Rob and your local every single tool available that they need for them to do the best contract they can for you. And our job is as a support. Our job is to be here to help them make sure that you get the best contract that you deserve. Not the contract the company wants to give you, it's the contract that you deserve. And in closing, I just want to say this. It is a great honor again to be here. This local union is held in such high regard across this country for your leadership, for your executive board, for your stewards, and the leadership that you guys bring across the country and across this region. And so for me to be able to stand here in front of you today is just a dear honor to me. But all of you need to be so proud of the work that you guys do here locally and what your leadership does, because others across the country look up to this local union and what it needs to do, and it's a prime example of how you run this organization. So thank you, it's an honor, and if anything we can do to help you, we will. Thank you.
Not bad, you're dragging a guy from DC and he throws you a bomb compliment at the end of his speech. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, and a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you. Moving along, we have a special guest with us tonight. Steve, come on, start walking up front. This is Steve Chasman, Executive Director of the Long Island Council for Alcohol and Drug Dependency / Open Arms. I'm sure many of you know someone who has needed counseling or some sort of help on the job. Come on over here. Steve's the Executive Director for the Long Island Council. Special message.
Thank you for that introduction. President Newell, Rob, thank you. And you know what? I was just proud being in the back listening. Happy holidays to all of you and your families, and thank you for all the great work you do. My name is Steve, but listen, I work for Open Arms Employee Assistance Program. LICAD Open Arms has been your employee assistance program for over 25 years. And we know all the great work you do. So we heard a lot about technology. We heard a lot about some of the dangers of cyber. The truth is that you're hardworking men and women and Americans that are doing great work for our communities in the greater New York region. And you know what? Because we're human beings, because you work hard, every once in a while, you deserve support and assistance to get through not just the day, but challenging times. We're well aware, and we were proud to be affiliated with Local 1500. 5 years ago, there was a global pandemic. We know you kept going, and we were there for you. Our employee assistance program, and I saw some of the shop stewards taking posters. With your permission, Mr. President, I'd like all of you to be a card-carrying member. We are available 24 hours a day. Now, I and the 22 members of your EAP that work at Open Arms EAP. We're all licensed mental health professionals. We are grief counselors. We work with childcare and daycare. I'm going through it as, should we live long enough, elder care issues with our guardians or our parents. We are here to support you. Whether you know it or not, and we don't wish this on you, we're just doing this a long time ourselves. LICAD and Open Arms have been around since 1956. By the way, we are your neighbors. Thank you for the invitation here tonight. We came the other day to meet Rob because there was a loss of one of your brothers in the coffee shop, and we extend our condolence. But we were there offering grief and loss support. I drove from our office in Nassau to here. It was 8 minutes. We have offices in Suffolk, the greater New York area, New York City, and of course on the East End. There is a public health crisis going on around mental health, around substance use. I know the incredible work you do. This EAP that your leadership here affords you through the union is not only well-deserved, it is not just for the union member. This includes your family members, your extended family, your children. So should they need mental health support, issues around alcohol use disorder or opiate use disorder, depression, anxiety, God forbid there should be a loss, we are here and we will come on site wherever you are with the invitation by shop stewards or leadership here. Sometimes, listen, there are inter-employee conflicts. We can help mediate some of that. So we are all mental health professionals. If we don't do it, we will find someone who works within your benefits who does. I know some of your leadership many, many years. I was on call last week. Our director of programming is on call this week. Try us out. 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon on a Sunday. If you need us, we'll always respond. I will pass out some of these cards. We know what hardworking professionals you are. We know the incredible work you do in keeping really all of us fed and being able to get what we need when we go out and shop, not just for the holidays, but all year round. And we're so grateful for all the work you do. So to President Newell, with your permission, we'd rather you have this, stick it in your wallet, your backpack. I know some of the shop stewards, there are posters back there. I'm going to pass these out. Maybe you can pass this back to some of your brothers and sisters. Because it includes your families, please take more than a few cards, and there's an abundance of cards back there. As your local employee assistance program, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and happy holidays. And are there any questions?
Steve, if you could just do 2 seconds. This is a difficult time of year.
Yes.
You know, the holidays, as much as they can bring joy and happiness, can also cause folks to maybe get a little too internal and focus on the negative and maybe get to a worse place because of something like Christmas or Hanukkah. If you could just 2 minutes on that, I know that's
Absolutely,
you're
please.
familiar with.
You know, the holidays are a time that we remember not just good times, but perhaps people we have lost. We've all experienced loss. It is a time where it seems like, and it's unbelievable that Christmas is a week and a half away. Sometimes time does some illusionary things to us. Although it's a beautiful time for friends and family, right, the holidays, it's also a time for stress. It's a time for maybe loneliness that could exacerbate depression or anxiety, financial insecurity, right? You want to see a whole group of adults get nervous, including me? You could just think of, like, you know, the bills in January. My Amazon, I found out when my wife was hiding the Amazon boxes. But, you know, the holidays can be a stressful time. And listen, this is the nature of what unions are. You know, am I my brother and sister's keeper? If you see something, I stole this from the MTA, but they haven't come for me yet. If you see something, say something. Meaning, if you see someone that looks out of character, if you see someone that looks maybe sad, if you look that maybe an individual may be bringing some of their unhealthy coping strategies, and we understand, because everyone wants to feel better, to work. It's not telling on your brother or sister, it's getting them perhaps the help they need. By the way, LICAD clinicians, whatever service we offer in English, we have Spanish-speaking clinicians. So you can get a Spanish-speaking therapist. We do this virtually as well, in English and in Spanish. We actually have some French Creole, two French Creole professionals as well, should that apply. But Rob, the holidays and all year round, you know, if we had more time, I would ask you, and I know leadership is in the room, but you should know we speak to a lot of different of our EAPs, union professionals like yourself. We speak to law enforcement, we speak to doctors and with stethoscopes. I usually ask, and just answer yourself silently, how many people in this room would say they've been under a significant amount of stress for the last 3 months? I know my hand would go up. Not because we're weak, because the world, and we just heard a little bit about it, the world has sped up exponentially, right? Some of us are working more than just that 40 or 50 hours a week. And when we get home, we have family responsibilities, right? We have elder care or child care responsibilities. This is all part of the human experience, but the world in the last 20 years has sped up exponentially and got faster. With that come anxiety, comes stress, and stress management. By the way, you don't have to be in fetal position to call your EAP. You could call us and be like, I'm having problems with my work-life balance. I'm having problems with stress. We can make some suggestions. By the way, let me say it again, and you can thank your leadership in the union. This is all covered. There is no fee for service here, okay? We do have a variety of support groups. If you go on the EAP website, which is on the card, you could see the multitude of services that we offer, not just mental health, not just substance use. But again, if we cannot provide it ourselves, we will work with you and your shop stewards and your insurance, and we will find someone locally, who could provide it close to your home so you can access those services. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Stephen. And, you know, one of the things Steve said was, you know, it doesn't have to be like something that something that you've said on yourself. Back in the days as a union representative, it's one of the most rewarding things to help a member that's in need and help set them back on the right path. And, you know, we've been working with the Long Island Council Open Arms for many years. I'll give you an example of something that happened quite a long time ago. The Pathmark in Bed-Stuy was held up 2 days in a row. And then folks were afraid to go to work the next day, on day number 3. And we called up LICAD, Open Arms, and they went down to the location and they offered counseling for folks. You know, it's you never know what's going to come up that you need to talk to someone about. And just know that, again, one of the values that we try and bring to our membership is the Long Island Council, and they do great work. So, Steve, thanks again for being here.
Happy holidays.
Hey, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Just because I have a habit of trying to put a pin in any really emotional balloon, it's a habit of mine. How many people have said that you sound just like Keith Roth? Anybody listen to Sirius XM radio? You listen to any of the old hair metal stations? Keith Roth is David Lee Roth's brother. Yeah, it just goes bing, right? You hear him speak? You have a lot of the same inflections in your
Well,
voice.
at the risk of dating myself, Rob, anything affiliated to the original lineup of Van Halen, I'm okay with.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks again. Moving along, our next speaker is Assistant Field Director Rob Ecker. Mr. Ecker will be retiring from Local 1500 in the next few weeks, and we wanted him to have an opportunity to speak to folks. So, welcome, Rob.
Thank you. Well, I was asked to speak tonight a little bit about your passwords. So, first slide, please. No? All right, we'll do something different.
His password was on that sheet.
Yeah. I was systematically changing them all in the corner over there. I would like to say that this turnout is a bunch of people that came to see me rather than the stack of gift cards that Allie has over here, right? That's the case. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, this is my 100th and final general membership meeting. 21 years on staff, 4 as a steward. I don't think I missed one, but I'm going with 100. And listen, this is the membership meeting, so I want to use this opportunity to thank the members. You've supported me along with this organization for as long as I can remember. You're my success, and for the folks that made it additionally challenging, thank you too. But I would be remiss without thanking everybody in this room. And I also want to acknowledge my wife, Kathy, that's actually watching tonight. Thank you for being my support system, and I love you, and I can't wait for our next chapter. But to the local 1,500 membership, you are the best that they are in what you do and the way you support this local. Stay involved. If you're involved a little, get involved a lot. If you're involved alone, bring someone with you. That's when amazing things happen. I've seen it firsthand, and if you watch close, you can't miss it. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. That's the shortest he's ever spoken.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going with short.
Wow, that's messed up. How do you destroy?
Look, just a reminder, thanks again, Rob Ecker, really appreciate that, and you will be sorely missed. Just a little housekeeping, the folks watching on YouTube Live, I didn't get a chance to say this tonight, but make sure you identify yourselves in the comment section. We have folks that are jotting down names. Those names will become your raffle tickets, and we do have quite a few gift cards that we're raffling off tonight. We will also have a brief question and answer period for folks that may have any questions, so write them down in the comments as well. My report is next. I was going to just mention a couple of things, a couple of negotiations that we're working on. Partners Coffee in Williamsburg, Brooklyn continues to move forward. It's a slow pace, but we are moving forward. Again, the inaugural contracts, the first contracts for companies that have never been unionized before, writing every single word down and negotiating over every single word is something that takes quite a bit of time. Blank Street Coffee took about a year. Partners Coffee is taking a few months so far. Our next session will be January 15th, and we will continue to update folks as we go. We recently negotiated successfully the Gourmet Glot in Lakewood, New Jersey contract. Former local 1718 company represented company, now with local 1500. We're very proud to say that this was the last or the final Gourmet Glot contract for us to negotiate and to have that company transition officially over to local 1500. That ratification vote is scheduled for this Monday, so please, keep us in your thoughts with that wish as well. I'm going to cut it there and keep it moving. But thanks, folks. Little report.
They clapped because it was short. Bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and I will be doing the same, but I wanted to make sure that, number one, I wish you all the happiest of holidays. I want to tell you how much you all mean to us, and you mean to the world, because honestly, without you, there are no holidays, and we all know that. We say it all the time, but a couple of things. The speakers tonight, all conversations provoked by the membership. One of our members had their identification stolen, or rather money stolen through AI. So we thought that it would be good to have some points to talk about. We've had folks ask us for financial literacy information, and we've had people tell us that they would like to know how to invest money better. I want you all to know that you have a voice here, and if you want us to introduce a topic, then we should bring it in. You obviously heard that we had a member that passed away, 24-year-old young man that collapsed in the store. We needed to jump in. Newly organized company, they don't even have a contract yet. But we had to jump in and make sure that we brought that service into there. So please, don't miss an opportunity to teach us what you need. That's my message to you all. And just to say thank you so much for what you do, and we love you.
All right, so we are running a little late, so I'm going to keep my comments short. But if these three people are still in the room, I believe John Harrington is in the room. I'm staring at him. That was a trick question. Robert Penta, are you in the room? And Jasmine Perez. If you three could come up front, please. Jasmine is from Pickwick Key Food, number 16 in Brooklyn. Robert is from Stop and Shop, and John, as we heard earlier, is from King Cullen 55. I want to personally thank you on behalf of the staff and the membership. These are your first year as shop stewards, and this is the traditional shop steward holiday card and yearly stipend that your delegate would give you, but being that it's your first year receiving one, we took the opportunity to acknowledge you here in front of your brethren at the meeting. We want to thank you for taking on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Our job and the job of our union representatives is not done on any day without the help of all of our shop stewards. So the opportunity to recognize three in their first year, just too good to pass up as far as we're concerned. Look, you heard a lot tonight, and the interesting thing is that a lot of the professionals that presented to you this evening have covered topics more in depth and a lot more effectively than maybe we could have. You know, Steve's message from Open Arms is a message that I tried very desperately to give last year, but I am in no way, shape, or form the level of training that Mr. Chasman is. And when we had the opportunity to bring him in, it was a no-brainer. You know, having a tragedy in a store at any point in time is terrible for those that work around the individual that was lost or injured. Having that type of tragedy, to Ally's point, in a contract that's not even yet resolved, and in an industry that we're relatively new in, around the holidays is like a typhoon. Those workers had no idea what happened. Most people mourn the person lost, but you also have to be prepared to help those that survived. And for those folks to move on effectively, having folks like the unbelievable people at LICAD and Open Arms goes a long way to make sure that people significantly more trained in circumstances like that than we are there to help you through those processes. So that's the reason that we chose, and I know it was a more lengthy meeting in the holiday season than we typically would, but how many of you were shopping on Black Friday, and when you had to enter in a text, when you had to wait for a text or somebody emailing you a number, you got pissed off? Oh, just let me put it through. Believe it or not, those are the types of things that save your identity from being stolen. You know, I like to bet on sports. I use Caesars. Every once in a while, Caesars makes me go through an email and verify that it's still me. And I'm like, come on, I'm going to miss the time. And try to put in a live bet. You know what? At the end of the day, whether I miss that opportunity or not, my identity is being protected because they're going through that dual authentication. And that's the reason that you heard the things you heard tonight. So there are 100 topics that we could cover. Those of you that are not strangers to these meetings know how many things your union does on a daily basis, whether it be for workers that are not yet in our union, the workers that are in our union, whether it's forwarding pro-worker legislation, or just quite frankly trying to make sure that a store manager that needs a swift kick in the ass gets it. That's never going to stop. The list, the names on the list will change, the topics on the list will change, but the list will never, ever go away. We have an incredible staff. I think it's more than appropriate for our staff to come up front and be recognized by the members. Yes, that's you there, Junior. Would you come on? It's more than appropriate for our staff to come up front. I tell you, if Freddie ain't fixing his hair, he don't know what to do. Fiona, why don't you come up front too, please? The young lady coming up is Fiona. She's working with us as an intern. She's currently a Stop and Shop member that's working with the union through the Workforce Development Agency grant that Mr. Waddy read to you earlier. Samantha just pulled out her back getting up to get up here with the staff. But look, these are the folks that help every one of our members every single day. The four of us get to sit here at this table and we're on film for a lengthy period of time. But the reality is the folks behind us, and if you look at that thing, you'll see who's in and who's not. It works a miracle.
Terry, you trying to tell us something?
They're really the people that deserve your gratitude and deserve your thanks. So to the staff of Local 1500, thank you very much. Beat it. I got Junior right over my shoulder. I've been harassing him all night. Yeah, look at your hair again. Look. The delay is hysterical because it's like 3 or 4 seconds behind, and he's behind me, shooking and jiving, and it's not moving.
Terry stayed in the crowd.
Yeah, it's all right. Terry's like, I had enough today. Look, on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Joe. Where's Keith? And if? He probably left. What if?
He's there.
Look, it's something we say with regularity, and I don't say it just to say it. I say it because I mean it. The privilege and the honor of being president of this union and getting to work with your secretary-treasurer, your executive vice president recorder, your director of operations, all of our directors, delegates, service reps, organizers, comms people, our office staff, all the folks that work in the departments, pension, welfare, legal, and annuity, those that help on a scholarship program, those that help with your charity fund. Quite frankly, I get a lot of the credit. I got the award from the Boy Scouts, and occasionally we get a plaque here or a thank you card, and usually they're addressed to me. I'm the guy at the top of the ledger, but I'm certainly not the person responsible for all the great things that happen here. And without all of our staff, without all of our shop stewards, without all of our members, none of the things that I get to accept and none of the honors that I get to take would be possible. And I promise, as I do every year, to spend every single moment of my life fighting for working people and to try to make this union a better place and to try to make all of your lives a little bit better today than they were yesterday, with a focus on trying to do that again tomorrow and every day that follows. There are retirees in this crowd. There are active members in this crowd. There are retirees working part-time in this crowd. There are former members in this crowd. This is a pure sign of the diversity that is this union. Even if you don't work anymore, you don't leave this union. You love this union. To Rob's point, if you love it a lot, love it more. If you love it alone, bring somebody with you. If you love it a little, learn to love it a little more. There could come a day where this union is the only thing that stands between you and being able to maintain your livelihood and take care of your families. And I can tell you that that's something we're really proud to do every day, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever holidays you celebrate during this time of year, we hope that they're happy, they're healthy, and these two wonderful individuals are going to make a few of you even happier in a few minutes because we're going to give out some gift cards. For those on YouTube Live, you will be included, but there will be some deference shown to those of you who took the time to come out here today, and the first number of cards that will be given in this room, and then we'll add the YouTube Live cards. So thank you very much, and good luck.
Yeah. Why don't we start there first while we're collecting? David Bridgelow, come on up front. We're pulling his raffle tonight, Rob.
Where's Brian? Brian win. Come pull a winner.
Come on, we need an impartial person here.
Not you. Pull one.
Please grab one of those.
Pick three.
Three. Pull two more of these, please. It's two. Oh boy. Three. Okay. First winner is Brian Lewis. Stop Shop 2587.
What does he win?
What does he win?
Choice.
A choice of
Big screen TV, PlayStation 5 or brick of lottery tickets.
PlayStation 5.
You got it.
Well, congratulations. Some real stuff going on here. Next winner is Kevin Palladino from ShopRite 109. Is Kevin here?
No.
Kevin Palladino, 109.
I got it.
Okay.
I'll bring it to him.
And the third winner is Israel Cruz. Israel
Oh.
from 1500. I don't know.
I'll throw that one
Oh, he's
back.
gone?
Hold on.
He left?
Whoever's writing that down is getting a beating tomorrow. Putting Izzy's name in the raffle. Oh, he won that? All right, I stand corrected.
Still getting a beating tomorrow, but
Different reason.
okay. We
I
all
want to
set?
thank all the members that participated.
Yeah. Come around here. Let's see that. Come around. Come around.
There you go.
Smile. There's a delay.
Oh, this is a delay? Okay, I got it.
I'll tell you how you look, though. But congratulations.
Man.
Wow, wow, wow.
Look at that.
All right, we're gonna run here. Congratulations, folks.
What is he?
Wow.
Dave, take this. Take that, please. Thank you. All right. Do we have raffle tickets? Live? Live. YouTube.
here.
Okay.
Present.
In present. In person.
Please, present.
You got live. Okay.
Live is not here.
All right. Who do we
All
want?
right.
You want to do Mr. Williams?
Okay. We mix these up good, right?
That's in the box, that's in the room.
This is in the room.
In the room.
One at a
One at
time.
the
We're
moment.
gonna do 500.
We're starting off with a 500 to start. Caesar or a pizza? Where's Caesar? Where's Caesar? Hey! All right, Caesar's gonna
I
pull
want to
one.
see some teeth over there.
Caesar, congratulations, you're giving them out, right?
Here you go. Wait, hold on. Turn it over. Let's make sure. All right, cool.
Caesar, please pick
Look
a.
at it, though. Look the other way.
Yeah. We're gonna do 250, okay?
250 goes to Ray Scott. Where is he? I see Raymond Scott. There you go, Ray.
Get to
Smitty.
the minutes with a motion and a
Smitty.
$250.
Nice.
Congratulations, Ray.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, yes.
And please
Nice smile we got going on.
pick the next winner.
Okay. We're gonna do another $250.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
250 goes to John Cregan. John, I saw him back there. There he is. He's up front.
Staying in that Stop and Shop family.
250.
Thank you, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Congrats.
John, please.
pick one.
Okay. Okay, folks, we're gonna do another $500.
500. You listening for your name?
You can't win.
I didn't even see him. Severe Dillon. Severe.
There, 500.
Severe. Whoa. Happy holidays.
Thank you, buddy.
Don't
Yeah,
forget your card. Don't forget
Get a card and pick a card.
Yeah. Wait.
Okay, I'm waiting.
It's all right, do 100 now.
Okay. We're moving a little fast.
Congratulations.
Too fast?
Okay, we're doing $100.
$100.
100.
Woo.
Suspense.
Rocky Schleppy? Rocky's here? There we go, Rocky.
Oh, he's got a
Hey!
$100.
Now we're gonna mix some up.
All right, now
I'm gonna
mix.
mix them up.
No, we gotta-
Yes.
Joey.
Oh, mixing them up. That's what we mean.
How are you?
How you doing, brother?
Great to see you.
How are you? Thank you.
Let's dump these in here.
Congrats.
Hold on.
Now we add the YouTube Live into the pile.
See, box is empty.
I gotta pack my desk.
Yeah.
Mix it good.
Mix it good.
I was gonna say
Mixing
something.
it up. Mixing it up. All right. Dig in there, Rock. What are we doing?
$100.
$100 goes to YouTube Live right off the bat.
Rick, Rock, pick another one.
Yeah. Janet Carosella, Stop and Shop 532.
We're gonna do another 100.
Another 100 goes to Robert Rodriguez, Fairway 183. That's YouTube Live.
What do you got, Al?
What do you got?
We're gonna do another 100.
$100.
Let's do two.
Here's two.
Two 100s.
Here's two $100 wins.
Both YouTube Live. I think it's Dawn Brander from Cutchogue, King Cullen Cutchogue. Who's writing these? And Asi Diagni, ShopRite 293, SRS.
What are you calling now?
We'll do 100 for now.
100 for now.
Dig in there, come on.
Come on.
That one.
Mecky Williams, Stop and Shop 2585. The YouTube Live folks are coming strong.
Mix them up.
Mix them up. Mix it up.
Let's do 250.
Go get it, Mr. Retiree.
250 goes
Pick a
to
good one.
Katie Tikas, Stop and Shop 545 on YouTube Live.
Well, you guys are getting a guess at knowing whether
Hey,
it's in person or not.
Come on back.
As soon as that card
Two
came out, I heard,
100s.
Pick two, Greg.
How many's that?
That's more than two. Okay, that's two. Wow. Okay, both YouTube Live. Yulitza Rivera from ShopRite, SRS 235. Jacqueline McKeams, SRS 278. Can't read this handwriting. Come on, Ek. Mix big.
Shake
Dig
it
in,
up.
dig in there. Get something good.
1, 2, 4.
100.
One. Don't go too far. Oh, in person.
in person.
Narita Otero. Narita? Yeah, come on up. What you doing? What you hiding over there for? That was 100? There, you give it to Narita. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Say hi to Jovino first, please.
Yovino,
Pick-
where's the
dig in there,
bedazzle?
dig in there. How many?
One or two.
One? How many? She picking?
Two.
Two. Oh, perfect. You
We're
knew
gonna
it, too.
do
Pitbull.
250. I'm sorry, 250 and 100.
250 and 100. Okay. We good?
Which
Yeah.
one's first?
250.
All right.
250 goes to Dominique Jones, 2590, YouTube Live. And what?
100.
100 goes to Maria Rodriguez from Mandel 890, YouTube Live.
Where's the other part? For that. We
Good?
have all of these.
Come on, Ek. Let me mix this up a little bit better.
These
Yeah.
are $25 Stop and Shop.
Someone needs to, like, come over here and... Oh, yeah, there we
We
go.
have 11.
11 left?
Still don't know how we got 11, but that's fine. All right, we got 11 $25 Stop and Shop gift cards, and then I believe we have
One last 500.
one banger left, one $500. All right, you ready?
Ready.
I'm gonna pull a couple.
That's two. This is for the Stop and Shop cards, right?
Yes, $25 Stop and Shop cards.
Okay.
4.
Nope, not all
Six.
YouTube Live. And you're gonna know that in a moment. No disrespect. What do you need? One more? Two more? Two more. Two more.
Three.
Three more.
9, 10.
One more.
One more.
Uno más. Another YouTube Live. I got
YouTube's
3 in
killing it
person.
tonight. We'll go with the 3 in person. 11 winners here. Sandra Granados. Hey! Rich Nelson. Where's Rich Nelson?
We knew that name was coming up.
Rick was holding out for the last 500.
Congratulations. Thank you. Rich Nelson. Congratulations. Sorry.
No, this thing was went bye-bye.
And Anne Marie Griffin.
Anne Marie Griffin.
Yes.
Okay,
3124.
the other winners are from YouTube Live. We've got, oh, I'm sorry. Happy holidays.
Joe just trying to get some gratuitous.
Sorry. Kristen Finger from Tops 531, way up north.
Sorry, Ralphie.
Ralphie's heading up there. Carlos Smith, King Cullen number 8. Linda Milton, King Cullen 26.
Another traveler.
Bridge.
Eric McAvoy, Stop and Shop 2595. Tammy Brennan, 517, Stop and Shop. Kathleen Shannon, King Cullen 14. Renee Turner, Stop and Shop 2589. Madison Papalardi, Tops 531. Yay. Make that trip worthwhile up there, right?
Can I get one of my favorite retirees to come up and pick this one? Miss Shari Billick.
You
Come on,
look
Sharon.
around.
Come on, Shari.
Shari Billick, everybody.
Shari.
If you love Shari, now's the time to tell her. Give her a little love.
This is for $500.
$500.
500, right?
Make
500.
somebody a nice, happy
It's
Christmas.
for $500.
I can't hold it up that high. You ain't got it.
They're doing it. I got nothing to do.
Oh, it's in person.
Ooh. Nissim Montalvo. Fairway, 183.
Front row, baby.
Fairway, 183. Congratulations, bro.
That was pretty cool.
Anything with Q&A?
Anything on Q&A? Our Q&A folks who are writing down the Q&A?
Why didn't I win?
I'll try. That's a good question. Hey, I want to say thank you, just briefly, and acknowledge, you can turn that camera on, right? I want to acknowledge a good man who's here with us tonight. He's still on the mend, but King Joe, bag of donuts, Amoroso right here in the middle. Let's go, Joey. The big pineapple. Looking good, brother. Thank you so much for coming back to your house. You helped build the place. It's only appropriate that you be here for us. So, love you. Look how red he's turning. I should have called him the tomato. He's going to be red as a tomato. Love you, kid. All the best. We do have a couple questions. Janet Carasello, Stop and Shop 532. How can we get notified of these membership meetings? They're on the back page of the Advocate, the union newspaper that comes 4 times a year. You also see it sent out digitally. If you're not connected where you're getting emails from us, you can send an email to info@ufcw1500.org, and Nick will get you on the distribution list. If that's not working because your email was hacked, as so many people explained, that could be a possibility tonight. You should be getting your newspaper quarterly, and it's on the back top left corner. It outlines the next 3 meetings in advance. More than likely, it's going to be the second Wednesday of every March, June, September, and December. Occasionally, there may be a slight deviation, but that's typically when they are. Second question, Betsy DeAngelis from ShopRite 206. Where do we get the information from Nick? We will get the information out from ID Resolution via social media, via email, and your reps will have it. We'll probably also do a snail mail. We have not signed that contract yet, so we have some legal obligations. We need to make sure that our relationship with the company is approved by legal counsel. We don't jump before we look. So once that's done, the intent is to try to have this in place by February 1, but you will not have to search to get that information. It'll be on our site, it'll be on our socials. We will be providing a list of simply our members' names and probably the store that you work in to them on a quarterly basis. That'll automatically register you. You'll be able then to reach out. They'll just verify that you're on that list. Remember, they do not have any other qualifying information of yours. So don't be alarmed if they're asking you for information that's going to help identify you. We're not giving them anything but your name and the store. That's it. So they're gonna need, to help you, they're gonna need more information. So I don't want people to be of the, well, why do I have to give it to you? You already got it, my union. We're not giving out your information. That much I can guarantee you. Okay? We have no other questions. Are there any questions in the room?
I'm hungry.
Jovino wants to know why he didn't win more money. He's hungry. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Motion by Rich, seconded by Ray. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much.
Happy
Have a great
holidays.
holiday.